From the moment he took his first shaky steps on the sun-warmed soil of the savannah, the little elephant named Moyo stood out. He wasn't the strongest, the tallest, or even the most coordinated calf in his herd, but he had something the older elephants quietly admired, a determination that glowed in his oversized ears and curious eyes. While other calves leaned on their mothers for balance, Moyo insisted on wobbling forward alone, tripping over his trunk, tumbling into bushes, and popping back up as if the whole world were cheering him on. According to wildlife researchers who study elephant development, calves often learn by watching adults, but Moyo acted as if he was born with an inner compass urging him to figure things out his own way. The others noticed this even more when the rainy season arrived, turning the familiar trails into slick mud and swelling the rivers that challenged even the strongest elephants. Crossing the river was always the toughest part of the journey, and the herd moved with practiced caution, forming a protective formation around the calves. But for Moyo, the river quickly became a personal battle. Each attempt ended the same way, a brave step forward, a determined splash, and then the current nudging him sideways until an adult guided him back. Some elephants trumpeted softly in encouragement, while others worried he was trying too hard. Still, Moyo refused to quit. Whenever he had free time, he practiced, splashing in shallow water, testing the current with his tiny legs, even pushing fallen logs to build strength. Wildlife experts often say young elephants develop problem-solving skills through play, and Moyo's play looked very much like training. When the dry season ended and the migration began again, the river was higher than the previous year, fed by weeks of unusual storms. Even the adult elephants hesitated. They could feel the powerful pull of the water. But Moyo stepped forward first. The matriarch watched him closely, recognizing both the danger and his determination. She walked beside him, close enough to help, but not close enough to stop him. As Moyo entered the swirling water, the current seized his legs. It was stronger and colder than he remembered, but he pushed on. His tiny trunk rose like a periscope, his ears pinned back, his heartbeat thundering in his chest. For a moment, it seemed he might slip again, and a wave of concern rippled through the herd. But something had changed. Weeks of practice had made him stronger. His footing held. Inch by inch, he moved forward as the water rose to his belly, then to his chest, and still he pressed on. Researchers often say elephants show emotional intelligence from an early age, and watching Moyo then, anyone could see it. Courage mixed with fear, effort fueled by hope. The river foamed around him until he finally slipped into a calmer pocket of water created by the matriarch's steady presence beside him. It was just enough. With a final burst of effort, Moyo scrambled onto the far bank, shaking, dripping, but victorious. The herd erupted in triumphant trumpets that echoed across the plain, a sound filled with pride, relief, and awe. Moyo didn't fully understand what he had accomplished, but he sensed the shift around him. Adults touched their trunks gently to his back, a rare sign of recognition. In the days that followed, his story spread among researchers observing the herd. Some believed his resilience came from natural instinct. Others thought it reflected a unique personality, noting that elephants, like humans, can show strong individuality from a young age. Whatever the cause, Moyo became a small symbol of something big, the truth that even the smallest among us can face challenges that seem too deep, too powerful, or too overwhelming. As he grew, he continued to tackle obstacles with the same spirit, inspiring younger calves and surprising the adults who once worried he was pushing himself too hard. And while no one can say exactly what drove him, whether it was courage, stubbornness, or something in between, his journey reminds us of a simple truth. Sometimes the greatest victories come from the smallest hearts refusing to give up. And that's something worth carrying into our own challenges.